you want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football. If you want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the Nick Shine Show. I am your host, Nick. We are one Sunday through November, and the Jets have not lost yet in November. Ladies and gentlemen, no November swoon for the Jets. Shooting to the top, as our good friend Mikey Midnight just told us 100 times during Addie and Bobby's show. Jets are going to run the table. The Jets will not lose. Is he right? We don't know. But he believes he's right. And that's what's most important. So, ladies and gentlemen, before the show even started, our good friend, the legend, Bobby Midnight himself, gifted 5 channel memberships. They went to Jaden D'Angelo, Big Will, Georgie, Jenner G, and D Van G. So, Bobby, thank you. For those of you not reading the banner on the bottom of the screen scrolling, if we get to 30 gifted memberships in a show, we will spin the wheel that night and we will give away a Jets jersey. Many people have gotten Jets jerseys that I'm ordering for them. Mike D's Nuts has one for him and his wife. His says D's Nuts. Her jersey says her nuts. They love it. Knobs received several. Jaden D'Angelo got one. Jake's got one going to him. Eli Betts has got one. So if we get the 30 gifted memberships in a stream, we will give it away. So be in it to win it. Also, I'm working on an overall prize. I told you guys the Mangold items were through the roof. I'm working on something, but anyone who gifts from last Monday night when we gave away the what Luppy won, the sack exchange from the stock exchange photo, everything gifted and all super chats $5 up from that moment on, get you on the next wheel, night of the Baltimore game. But ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday. Turn up your speakers, crank up the car volume wherever you're at, and let's listen to Blitz. We'll be right back.
It's got me.
Gentry covered in football!
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined, so get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click a family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky.
Who, me?
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. You know Blitz is the man. If you are a channel member, if you're a shiner, show Blitz some love. Hit that Blitz BK emoji. Also, we have the Nick Mangold emoji. We have the 7-4 up there. Show Nick some love, obviously. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm bringing on one of my favorite people to talk Jets football with. He's a good friend, Dylan Tereman. What's up, buddy?
Nick, I am so happy to be back with you. I was just thinking as I was listening to that intro, how many years has it felt like since we watched the Buffalo game together live on your channel?
Man, I had a black beard when that.
I had
had a
no
black
facial hair
beard
when
back
that
in week
happened.
2. You didn't have headphones? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. For those of you who that I always make fun of for being a nerd, there's my nerd moment for the year. I made a Star Wars reference. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shine, lover of nerds. There you go, folks. So we're going to be joined in a few minutes by a special guest. Uh, but until then, let's talk a little Jets. Let's draw our line of demarcation here at the bye week. Let's look at the past. Obviously, the first half was a major disappointment for us, right? Obviously, there's a lot of things that did not go right for this team. When you look back at the first half, give me some of the surprises that stood out to you with this team.
Okay, I'm gonna start off with a good surprise, and hopefully
All
we'll
right.
end on a good surprise as well if I do
All right,
this
we'll
right.
alternate. We'll go back and forth. What do you
Yeah,
got? You kick
my
it off.
my first positive surprise is the O-line health and the way that they've played overall because
Knock on
absolutely.
wood.
I know, absolutely. I have fake wood around me, so that'd be bad juju. But yeah, I feel like what is it? 8 games through, they've all started, all 5 of our starters.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, AVT going down the week of week 1. I don't technically count that because he didn't start a game, but we've had the same 5 starters all season since the games actually started counting. So that is
Yeah.
a huge difference
I can't
compared to.
recall the last time we had 8 straight games with the same offensive line.
I'm sure it's probably like Nick Mangold's era, truthfully,
Yeah.
because those
Shout out,
guys
man.
just played through everything and just wrapped up their entire arms and look like the guy on SpongeBob who's in the full body cast. So yeah, I mean that's my first positive is the health, also the play because it's hell yeah, we love that. It's one thing if the offensive line is healthy and bad, but they're healthy and relatively really good. I'm not gonna like put a
Yeah.
number on it in terms of rank in the league, but like they're probably about league average at the bottom, and then like at times they can be close to like top 5. I think it was the 33rd team had a graphic. They were the best offensive line in terms of pass protection against the Cincinnati Bengals, which shouldn't be a terrible surprise, especially when Trey Hendrickson is hurt. But the
He
offensive
didn't
line
go out
health,
so late.
yeah, it was like third quarter, I think, when John
Yeah.
Simpson came over and hit him, which
Yes,
again,
because
a
the
com-
Jets coming right in front. Well, I'm not going to say that. The Jets were heading in the direction of the end zone that I was sitting at. The Jets were not coming in front of me. The Jets in the fourth quarter were going away from us. But yeah, there you go.
hell yeah.
There
So
you go. Enjoy that one, everybody.
gosh, they're gonna run with that.
Yeah, the Jets were coming in front of me. Enjoy, Johnny boy.
So yeah, I think that the play has been relatively good, and I'm not, I'm not gonna, be so happy that they killed a team like the Bengals up front, right? Offensively, they had great pockets for Justin Fields. I don't expect that going forward, but the fact that we've seen that in multiple games now from the offensive line, where you could take that still shot of Justin Fields at the back of his drop, and you don't have to look at anybody who's open or not open down the field, but just the pocket around him is so much better than I think we've seen Justin Fields get consistently in a long time. So my first positive is O-line health and play.
Yeah, I'm going to stay there with you, and I'm going to say the success of the run game. Even though there's been some games where we haven't utilized it as much, we're still number 2 in the NFL. Going in, obviously, this week we'll fall a little bit, not having a game all the teams did. But after 8 weeks, the Jets were second in run, and it goes again to stay with the offensive line. When there's continuity and consistency there, and the offensive line is playing together week after week, they're going to gel, they're going to grow, they're going to get only better as the season goes on. And that's not something that we're used to as Jets fans. We've been 11, 12, 13, even 14 deep on the offensive line just a couple years ago, where Xavier Newman was like our best offensive lineman at certain points of the season, going from guard to center to injured to back in. So if you're looking for positives, when you get your quarterback, and a lot of us believe we're going to go get him next year, he's coming in behind a really good offensive line. He's coming in behind guys who, for the most part, at least 4 of them are going to be back, right? I think either Myers or Simpson will be back. I don't think you'll let both of them go, right? Myers could be your 6th man again if you decide to upgrade at center.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pittman stays at right guard, and obviously we know that the bookends are safe, hopefully for many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I look at this group, and it's kind of shocking because multiple regimes have put premium investments into it, and we're finally seeing it pay off. So I agree with you. The offensive line, for multiple reasons, has been a huge positive. And, Fields, we'll get more into him later, and Taylor have both had a lot of time to throw the ball. And once we get that figured out, you got pass protection, you got elite run blocking, you got all the makings to be one of the better offenses in the league once you get the QB position figured out. So
Yeah.
great point, and I like that we're on the same page. Any
Mhm.
other surprises for the first half of the season that stood out to you with this team?
Yeah, I'll go with a bit of a negative one. And I don't want to say that it's been so drastic, but I guess based on my personal expectations, I had this position group specifically as the number one position group on the team. And they're probably playing like maybe the fourth or fifth best. So they're still okay. But the cornerback room, I mean, I've been kind of confused, right? I was led to believe that Sauce Gardner and Brandon Stevens and Michael Carter, and I've probably uh, bumped them up a little bit too high, in my own individual rankings, but I
Okay.
thought that these guys were going to be damn near elite. And then you add in AZ Thomas, and I thought that you had one of the strongest four, if not five deep with Quantez at cornerback in the entire league. So I was wrong about the cornerback room. However, after the first 3 or 4 games, Brandon Stevens kind of turned the corner, and he's been playing relatively well over the last 4 games of the season. Sauce has been better than last year, but not as good as his all pros 2 seasons. And I thought that he was going to be closer to that. And maybe he does end up getting second team all pro, but I feel like the fall off. And then you look at the nickelback position, obviously Michael Carter, he has kind of fallen off since last year as well, but they kind of found something and hopefully in Brownlee. But I guess I was just so wrong about where I thought the cornerback play was going to be, that I thought they were going to be taking the ball away and forcing turnovers and getting us off the field on third down. And it just seems like they haven't done that quite yet. So I want to say it's a negative for me, is a little bit of the cornerback fall off.
Yeah, I'm looking. So just in terms of Sauce, and
Mhm.
just to put some things into check with him, Glenn Naughton today had this tweet:
Mhm.
61 NFL cornerbacks have played 200 or more coverage snaps this season. Of those 61, here's the list of those corners who have allowed 10 catches or less while holding opposing quarterbacks to under 50% completion percentage. Sauce Gardner, end of list.
I love it. Yeah.
So we know he doesn't get the interceptions,
Mhm.
but he's still one of one in a lot of categories. I know you love the nerd stats, and I know you've
Mhm.
seen all those breakdowns. He's still out there in a
Mhm.
category of his own with coverage.
Yes.
So we would love to see the interception statistic. We know that is a game changer. That gets it's like a touchdown for a wide receiver, right? Who cares what you're doing between the 20s? Prime time, we need you to get in the end zone.
Mhm.
For the cornerback, yes, you're shutting guys down. You're not giving up a lot of catches. 8 games, less than 10 catches. Great. Catch one yourself. Just one. And you know what I mean? Like, that's the
Mhm.
one thing that we're all looking at and just waiting for him to turn the corner on. Now, he doesn't have a lot of targets. It's less than 50%. That's great. They're looking other directions. But now with Stevens starting to play well and being the top rated cornerback in the NFL since week 4, and now Brownlee is in as well.
Mhm.
I think you could start to see a little bit more consistency on the back end. So agreed, a little disappointing beginning. Michael
Yeah.
Carter didn't play well when he was in there. He's gone now. More into that in a little bit. But with Brownlee coming in, I think we're going to see a little bit more of the identity that Aaron Glenn spoke so highly about now that he's got his guys. They
Yeah.
traded for Brownlee. That's a guy they targeted. They signed Stevens. We're starting to see the dividends of that. The $36 million contract that everyone says was burning money the first 3.5 weeks of the year now looks like, holy shit, maybe we didn't pay this guy enough. This guy can end up being a steal at 3 for 36. So more to be seen, right?
Yes.
We got to see what they can do. But I agree with you. Little disappointing. There's
Mhm.
some games where not just the cornerbacks, the tight ends, which is linebackers, right? And
Mhm.
and your safeties. I think those are where teams are targeting. But overall, I think the defensive cornerbacks are really, really going to be vital to this team and hopefully winning a few games.
Yeah, I guess
hopefully-
two things
but
I'm trying to say are true. Like, one, the cornerback room isn't as bad as a lot of people, especially on Twitter, like to say it is, because like you kind of alluded to, those stats and charts, like they show Sauce is literally in a world of his own. And even though he's not playing up to, people's expectations of getting those turnovers, I still think he's doing well. And I've probably defended the corners way too much online, but it's
Yeah.
I think they need to be defended at times. But also just for my personal expectation, I had them so high that like a mediocre performance where I thought we were going to get 2 all pros. Like I thought Michael Carter was going to bounce back and be an all pro. Sauce was going to be a first team all pro. But now if we get 1 second team all pro out of Sauce and then Brownlee is a up and coming player who maybe next year could be a Pro Bowl type player, then sure, that's all well and good. But I guess just based on my expectation, it looks like it's been a down expectation on them. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're watching the Nick Shine Show. I'm joined with Dylan right here. Hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We do have a raffle going on. Bobby Midnight gifted 5 memberships before the show even started. Thank you to the legend, Bobby Midnight. If you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel as well. And then just moments ago, Adirondack Fly Guy said, you know what? I'm going to be a shiner. So Adirondack, welcome. Thank you for everything you do for the channel, all your contributions. And I appreciate you. You are on the wheel also. Remember, folks, if we get 24 more memberships tonight, we will give away a jersey for everyone who entered. And you will also be on the wheel for the prize, big prize. I haven't figured out what yet, but that will be the night of the Baltimore game, the 23rd of November. So hopefully the New York Jets still have the undefeated November by the time we get there. Now, my biggest disappointment is Braylon Allen. With what we saw in the preseason and the lack of utilization and being used as a kick returner, and I'm not just putting it on him, it's play call selection, utilization, the decision to put him back as a returner down in Miami. That to me is because what we saw, and you and I did multiple preseason games together, we thought this was going to be the Braylon Allen show. We thought, I said it multiple times, him running behind Membu was going to be the Jordan fadeaway from the post. I thought that was going to be the unstoppable play behind AVT and Membu. AVT goes down, and then Braylon never gets utilized. So it's not so much on the player, it's organizational. But that to me is the biggest disappointment of the first half of the season. I thought this was going to be a guy that was going to allow Brees to get out into wide receiver routes more often, allow him to be a bigger vital role in the passing attack. And I thought Braylon was going to be the guy. And now you see Davis, who is a pleasant surprise and had a monster game. And, many careers, Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, many careers have been kickstarted by an unexpected injury and an unexpected opportunity. So, Davis, make the most of your opportunity. We don't know if and when Allen will be back, but he looks like he's a nice player and he fits what they want to do offensively. So, what do you got? I'll give you one more.
I was literally just going to couple that with my disappointing one is the usage of Brees Hall. So we can couple it all into the usage of running backs in totality, right?
Yeah.
Because the usage of Brees Hall on third down specifically, I've said this a couple times in the last few weeks, and it doesn't make any sense to me. If you come out and you run the ball for 3 yards on first down, and then you run a play action where Brees isn't targeted, why the hell does Brees have to come off the field on third down for Isaiah Davis? I understand, maybe you think he is a slightly better pass protector, but unless you're going to keep the back in to protect, why not just have Brees Hall out there? Like, I guess maybe because it's more of a tell, but like, if you have to be obvious with some of your best playmakers, that's fine. How many times have we said all 22 players on the field know it's going to Garrett Wilson and they still throw it to Garrett Wilson and it works, right? They can do the same thing with Brees Hall. So I'm just really, I guess, disappointed with the usage of all the running backs, really. And I know Brees is on pace for some pretty good stats. And that's all well and good, but I feel like the efficiency in Brees Hall is not tapped into as well as Engstrom, because if they do want to bring Isaiah Davis on and use him in the pass protection game as that 6th person in to block for Fields, then just throw Brees Hall on the other side of Justin Fields or out wide as a wide receiver. Get used to putting two running backs rather on the field, especially when you don't have Garrett Wilson and you're trotting out guys like Isaiah Williams and Tyler Johnson, Alan Lazard, and Arian Smith, just use your two backs. It felt like they only went 21 or 22 personnel with their two backs like 5 times total in the Cincinnati Bengals game. And I guess I'm nitpicking on a win, but it's like little things schematically that I think the Jets aren't doing well. And a lot of it circles around the running back room. But for a run heavy team, you would think that they would know how to use their running backs. And I feel like sometimes they get it right and sometimes they don't. But when they get it wrong, like it's wrong. Like that toss, like where Justin Fields checked out of the 4th down play to toss it, that should never be part of it, right?
35 too. Like just go straight ahead. Play
Dude,
man up.
Exactly. So like that's the coaching is like kind of putting them at a disadvantage at some points. And it feels like it's always the running backs that are at the head of this problem. So I would say the running back utilization overall is definitely a disappointment for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the defense as a whole. That those first several games and even the Bengals game that we won, we didn't expect that.
No.
Now, people can pinpoint and people have discussed Will McDonald. All right. You haven't had a lead late in the game. Like we viewed Will McDonald as a closer. We viewed Will McDonald as a guy that in a 16-16 game late in the game and the other team has to drive, he could be the guy to go and get a stop. Now he did it last week with Flacco finally, his first sack since the Steelers game. But this is a guy that I had very high expectations for. I thought this was a guy who was going to take the leap. I had him going for 17 sacks. I said he's going to get one a game because I thought our defense overall collectively was going to be dominant. I thought we would make that jump back into the top 5 and we're near the bottom 5. So there's been many disappointments and we can do a whole show on the disappointments, but I just want to add one quick positive. I like the way the team hasn't given up. I like the energy that the team has, even though they were 0-7. I love the celebrating that I saw after winning the first game. Now, everyone is very quick in Jets Nation to write their narrative, to give their take, to try to be the first one, even if it's Allen predicting the 2028 moves that we're going to do. Everyone, a lot of people on Twitter want to predict the future with the Jets and say, I said it first. Well, you're wrong. The team didn't give up on their coach. He's not losing the locker room. That looked like a team hell-bent on winning, and they looked like a team who couldn't wait to celebrate their coach. I love that Woody Johnson was not there.
Yes, I was just going to say.
Give away the game ball. I love that a guy who almost divided and could have really torn apart your locker room, maybe unified the locker room. Maybe the team came together and said, you know what, Fields, you're our guy. Fuck management. Fuck what he says. Fuck Woody Johnson. He's never done anything but sign paychecks here. Who cares what he says? We're going to rally around you. We're going to come together. Teams have rallying moments. We see it in all different sports. There's something that unifies a team and brings them together, and a bond is created, whether it's from internally or externally. And I really, really love that the team to date hasn't given up. And, there's a lot of games on this schedule coming down the road that Cleveland looks winnable. New Orleans looks winnable. Miami looks winnable. There's several games this team can win and garner some momentum. But not only the games that we think we should win, there's games like Atlanta, Jacksonville, who doesn't seem to be what we thought they may have been earlier in the season. They just went to OT with the Raiders, who aren't very impressive at all. So there's opportunities for this team to really show, hey, we didn't give up. We're sticking this out. We're going to ride out with our coach. He's not going to be one and done. And we're going to build upon this together. Real quick, shout out to the great Jake Asman, ladies and gentlemen, gifted a channel membership that went to Pat Rich. So we are 23 away, folks, from raffling off a jersey. And I tell you right now, we're 18 away because I'm going to give 5. I'm going to give 5. And don't forget, if you gift and it goes to Chris B, you instantly win a jersey, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hell yeah.
Chris B is deserving. Chris B loves using his emojis. My 5 went to Jet Life 3, 2, 1. OG Jet Fan 1985. Anthony DeRise, Sharon McLean, and Jersey Jet. So thank you, everyone, for being subscribers to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And ladies and gentlemen, legends doing legendary things right now. The great, legendary, iconic, perfect hair having Rick Kent just gifted 5. They went to another legend, Peter Castro, Anthony Logerato, Party with Peck and Artie, the DJ Dirty Cooch, and Yeti. What a list of names, Rick. Absolutely incredible. Sorry, Rick. I'm excited. Jets didn't lose today, and you know you have excellent hair. I can't calm down, Rick, when it comes to you. You excite me as a Jet fan and a friend. That's it. But thank you, Rick. You're the man. You're aware of that. So, Dylan, give me your last one. Pick whatever you want. Positive, negative. What was one of your biggest surprises of the first half?
All right, so I wanted to just look it up before I get to my last positive because I was talking about the running back usage. Obviously, Braylon Allen's been hurt since week 4 that was against Miami. He got hurt. Isaiah Davis has 55.5% of the third down snaps at running back. Breece Hall, 30.9. It's a difference of 61 snaps to 34 snaps. That is egregiously bad. Like, we need to get them both closer to 40, right? If there's 95 snaps to be divvied up, I want to see Breece getting like 45 of those, like truly like a 50-50 split. Like, I don't know. I think it's crazy. Obviously, Braylon Allen has his 11 snaps, and then Beck has 4 snaps where they used him as the back in protection. So I don't know. I'm really against the running back usage right now. But the positive that I will end on, and you mentioned him at the part about your defensive letdown, Will McDonald's field goal block against Tampa Bay. Like, I understand it's just one singular moment, but the athleticism that it took to get that play
That's
going.
my Aaron Glenn.
Oh, it inspired a dance that is heard around the world. Sure, yeah, but like just what it took to do that play. Obviously, they come out with the loss, and then they are shit for more weeks after that. But it's like we need to remember that play because it was actually a really special play and like probably a top 5 play of the entire season so far in the NFL. Obviously, for the Jets, it's like probably the top play, or maybe the touchdown against Cincinnati just this past week. Breece throwing it to Mason, that'd probably be the number 1. But Will McDonald in the loss would be a number 2 on the Jets list of best touchdowns this year. So I don't know. We need to give him some flowers for that play. And it's going to get lost in the archives, as they say, in such a bad season. But I was really impressed at that play. And I thought from that moment, it was like, okay, Will McDonald is going to be that guy Nick Shine wanted him to be in double-digit touchdowns for a second season in a row. But it didn't happen, obviously. And what has he got? Like 2.5, 3 sacks through 8 games?
He's got 3.
3, yeah.
Let's not say he can't get to 10.
No, he can. He can totally get to 10.
Some games with some leads, damn it.
Yeah, we should.
He's going to have
hopefully this one upcoming.
We're not going to be down 17 in every game in the second half, and there's no running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Leads will lead to sacks.
Yes,
Leads
game scripts.
having to try to get chunks of yardage. Having a lead will help Will McDonald get home. Now, how do you do that? Number 1, ride the hell out of Breece Hall.
Yes.
How do we get better in the second half? You give Breece Hall the ball until he says, I need to come out of the game. I need a breather.
Mm-hmm.
Then you bring in Davis, who's shown he can really be a Braylon Allen type of what we thought he could be, and running hard between tackles and kicking it out and getting yardage. So he's a more physical runner than I thought he was going to be. So I know he had that touchdown the previous season down in Miami, and everyone's like, it was late in the game. It didn't matter. You know what? He's shown the ability to really run tough between the tackles. So good for him. But you got to ride Breece. Multiple reasons. He's 5th in the league in rushing going into today. Obviously, he got passed by a couple people.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a contract year. So that means one of 2 things. See what his value is by riding him week after week. And if the wheels fall off, you can let him go. But if he shows that he can carry the load these last 9 games, and he can be the guy that we always thought he could be, and he can push 1,200, 1,400 yards, get up to 10 touchdowns, be the guy leading us week after week, even when teams know we want to run the ball, great. And if it doesn't work out, let him go. But ride him, play after play. He said it with Garrett out, and now even Garrett coming back. put it on me. If we're going to win, let me help us lead us there. If we're going to lose, let it be that I didn't do enough.
Mhm.
That's leadership. That's something that I
Mhm.
want in the Aaron Glenn locker room. That's something I want being built in this culture. Now, I was one of the people who wouldn't have been mad if you moved Brees, but I can't do it with Braylon out and Davis, and I can't have Davis and Herbert being the guys for the rest of the season. So now that Allen went down, I am absolutely 100% okay keeping Brees, and I'm not going to extend him now.
Mhm.
I'm going to wait till the end of the year. If he earns more money, Dylan, I will be the first one clapping and happy saying he earned more money. He deserves more. I said 3 for 33 with the first 2 for 22 guaranteed. He earns more than that, and he goes to the moon in the second half. I'm okay.
Mhm.
If he gets 3 for 42, whatever the case may be, he earned it. And he showed that he can carry the load, stay healthy, and lead us to some victories. And that's the type of guy, and that's the type of leader, and that's the type of security blanket you want for a young quarterback, which we all think we're going to have next year. So
Yep.
ride Brees, ride him again, and ride him again, and hopefully good things happen for this team.
Yep. He said 20 to 25 touches. I don't understand why he hasn't gotten that already. I think he has 3 games this season with 18 or more carries. So
Yeah.
it's like that's already bad, right? Because we bitched
And he
about
only
that.
had 18 against the Bengals. He had 2 catches, so he got his 20 there.
Exactly. So it's like
Should be 20 and 5, right?
yeah, you're barely getting him to 20
Easy.
with total, I guess, opportunities, touches, and catches. But it's still, yeah, you got to use him more. And you said 3 for 36. I got 2 for 24 with 19 million guaranteed. That way, if he gets hurt in that year, he has some kind of guarantee on that second year. But it's
3
essentially
for 33.
yeah. So I did 2 for 24. So I just lopped off another year, basically. So I just want to be a little bit more short term with running back contracts, obviously, because you could still find one in the draft. But yeah, I'm an advocate of keeping Brees, utilizing Brees, and throw him the ball first or second read in the progression a couple times a game and keep the defense honest. You see a linebacker go out there with him in man coverage. Utilize him. Look
Yeah.
at Garrett for a second and then snap over to Brees.
Clear out and drag him over the middle.
100%.
Let a linebacker try to chase him across the field at full speed.
Yep. And they won't be able to, many of them won't be able to do it. So I think they got to be able to use Brees a lot more effectively down the back half for me to feel comfortable with anything more than a 2-year extension.
And those numbers will come with closer games where we're not getting blown out.
Yep. Yeah, the game scripts for him are like McDonald in the offensive sense, right? The game needs to be closer. The Jets need to be leading for Brees Hall to get more carries and more totes and like keep going. And the game has to be close, right? They can't be down 14 points. Will McDonald, he needs to have the game to be close or the Jets winning for him to pin his ears back and get home at the quarterback. So it's a lot of game script stuff. And obviously Brees can make it look a lot different in garbage time than Will McDonald can. But yeah, they definitely need better situational game scripts for them to have success.
Well, Dylan, I have a surprise for you. Are you ready?
Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nick Shine Show featuring Dylan Tereman brings you breaking news regarding the New York Jets.
Oh, no.
For the first time this season, ladies and gentlemen, we are not the number 1 overall draft pick. We are 3rd. Without having a game this week, New Orleans and Tennessee, both 1-8, have moved ahead of us, and we are now picking 3rd. After we defeat Cleveland next week, we will not be picking 1. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you, Alan, who want to lose out, you have some competition. Both the Saints and the Titans have lost 4 in a row. We have won 1 in a row. We are the only team in the top 9 picks coming off of a win, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Jets are unstoppable. Pick 14, here we come, baby. To the moon, Alice. Let's go, Jets.
Oh, man. And I mean, I look at the Titans and the Saints, and obviously the Titans don't need a quarterback. The Saints probably will look to get a quarterback if they land the 1 or 2 pick, obviously, because they have Shuck, who was the 40th overall pick last year.
Tennessee will get a haul from us.
But that's the thing is, who's going to try to jump us to get a quarterback if we're sitting at 3, or do we want to come up from 3 to 2 just to make sure that we have that spot solidified? I don't know. I guess you got to root for Tennessee to finish with the number 1 pick, and maybe the Jets to finish with the number 2 pick is the most realistic situation right now. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, JoJo says all 3 of these teams. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets pick after all 3 of these teams. I think the Jets can beat Miami in their second time around. And if they finish with the same record, maybe they have a tiebreaker over them, or they pick after them for strength of schedule purposes. So, yeah, I could see the Jets not picking even third, like maybe like 6th, maybe if they win 2 or 3 more games. I don't think they'll win 3 more games, but 2 more games.
I'm going to say we end up with the 6th draft pick because we
6,
did it
yeah.
with Vernon Golston. We did it with Leonard Williams. We did it with Jamal Adams.
Jamal,
we
yeah.
did it the year we had Sam Darnold. 6 seems to be a slot that the Jets fall into quite often.
Mhm.
So I don't see Tennessee or the Saints really winning unless they play one another.
Mhm.
I think Miami ends up worse than us. And then you look at the Raiders or you look at the Giants or even Cleveland. I think 6 or 7 is where we end up. Now, for those of you that want the quarterback, you're probably going to be upset because we're going to have to use a lot of capital to get up there. But I also don't want to be the worst team in the NFL where we're that far away.
Right.
I would rather say, okay, you know what? We won some games. We're playing competitive football. We're not down in the bottom of hell with all these other teams. So,
Mhm. And also, like,
Not a
and
football left.
it's way too early. Yeah, way too much NFL football, but way too much college football plus the draft process left. But I don't think this is going to be a situation where, unless teams just completely force it, like the draft class with Caleb Williams, where 6 went in the top 12. I don't think it's going to be one of those draft classes. I think you see maybe 4 in the top 12, and they're more spread out, right? It's not just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I feel like we got to get out of that mindset also. Like, somebody's probably going to take Ruben Bain from Miami in the top 5 because he's such a really talented player. And
Got the
there's
tackle Fano from Utah. Tackles are going to go.
Yep. There's plenty of other positions that could go in the top 5, top 10 that are going to help us. And sure, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks, but unless they're forced up the board based on like trade ups or situations like that, the Jets could sit at 6 and get the second or third quarterback off the board and have it be their guy and somebody that they don't like absolutely hate to take. Now, if you're sitting in a situation where you're picking 6th and 4 quarterbacks went off the board, and now you're sitting there looking at your 5th option, whoever that is, like, then you probably look to go in a different direction and you probably played your cards wrong and couldn't trade up. So it all depends on what the rest of the league looks like in terms of trying to get up for a quarterback, what the quarterbacks look like by the end of their seasons. There's so much left to go. Like, who is the consensus QB1? I don't think there is one. You have a different one than I do. I would just assume, and I don't even have a concrete quarterback one. It's just somebody that I think is slightly better than the rest. So I feel like everybody's all over the place, and that goes to the benefit of the Jets to have more or less consensus takes about these quarterbacks. Because as soon as we get into the echo chamber and everybody's saying, oh, Trevor Lawrence is the consensus number 1 pick, now everybody fight over the rest, then you kind of get hairy. But I think everybody's boards are going to look different come draft time.
Absolutely. All right. Now, I got to admit, I fucked up. Jesse, who's in the photo with me, who was at the game and crying last week, I emailed her and I left the number 1 off of the email, and I sent the email to the wrong Jesse. Because on Gmail, you know how a person's picture will pop up?
Yeah.
I thought I had the right email. I sent it, and I just caught the error 10 minutes ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So she might come on another day. She said she'd already gotten into bed, and I was like, I get it. No pressure. We'll do another day. It's my fuck up.
Get out of bed and get on the show right now.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, my fuck up. I get it. No need to get out of bed for me. Never thought I'd say that about a lady. Here I am. It's a new me, dude. It's a new me, DT. New things are happening on the show every day.
When the Jets are this bad, we say a lot of crazy things.
Yeah. Checking in from DR. Nice, brother. Enjoy the time.
Hell yeah.
Go check out their channel if you haven't. But, all right. Looking ahead. Give me your thoughts on the coaching. We know the coaching hasn't been great. We saw Glenn make a lot of good decisions in the Bengals game that led to victory. I was one who was head scratching. Why are you going for 2 at this point? And it paid off. It got a victory. Now, do I want to be I don't want to say reckless, but do I want to be as aggressive going forward? Honestly, no. No,
Mm.
no, I don't. I'm a little bit more conservative. When you're not winning games, if you're winning more and you have a little bit room for error, okay. But I feel when you're losing, you have less room for error because things aren't going your way and the tide is against you. But give me your thoughts on the coaching and what you saw in the first half. And are you out on Glenn? I know a lot of people are already. Are you optimistic with Glenn? Do you see some progress? What's DT think of AJ?
I am not out on Glenn. I am not optimistic on Glenn, but I have seen some improvement on Glenn. So I think the first 7 games were really disappointing from a coaching perspective, specifically Denver, in London, and then Carolina. I feel like you had very easy levers that you could pull at your disposal that could have drastically changed the course of those games. Obviously, you can even go back to Xavier Gibson not being cut, costing them week 1. It's just little decisions like that that ended up becoming very large decisions that loomed over us and caused us losses over wins. So, yes, there is a part of me that you could totally just say, hey, look, we're this close to having 4 wins on our schedule and being 3-5 or 4-4, but instead we're 1-7. I don't love the coaching decisions. The decision just to punt it on 4th and short at like midfield a couple of those games and then never getting the ball back. There are obviously certain times where it pays to be aggressive and where it doesn't pay to be aggressive. And I think to your point about being bad, when you're aggressive and you're bad, those decisions come under such a larger, more zoomed in magnifying glass. And everybody wants to nitpick every decision you make. Whereas once you win a couple games like that and you build a cachet of like, hey, look what we've done before, prove we can do this again and let us try it. When you haven't established it, obviously it's harder to get buy-in from the fans. But I would say that I just want to see them continue to be aggressive because their playoffs aren't in sight. And I do want to see if you are going to be aggressive, can you at least be intelligent when you are aggressive? And there's situations where they're aggressive and it feels like those first half or those first drives of the game where they, instead of kicking field goals, go for it. I feel like that's kind of dumb aggression. Like it doesn't make sense. Like you're trying to set a tone. I get it, but like just take your lumps, play the field position battle, and try again next time.
Or in
but
Tampa,
then
you go for it on 4th down, but then you give up on the drive. Like,
exactly.
if you're gonna be nuts. Be nuts.
Like when they ran the
time.
fake punt. Yeah, they ran the fake punt, kept every single one of their starters out except for the quarterback. They had their whole starting offensive line in. Like it was the easiest tell. So it's like little situations like that, and then you end up punting on the drive anyway. So it's like it's things like that were super frustrating. Now the improvement side of it was this past week, and it's a one very small game sample size, 8 games total. One
That's
game
a
is
ridiculously bad defense too.
right. One game is 12.5% of the entire pie. And that's all we need to look at is that 12%. It looked better, right? I don't even want to look at it as glass half full going into the back half of the season. The Jets finally put some liquid in the goddamn glass, Nick. And like now we can just look at the liquid.
No grains of sand just sitting there.
No, we don't need to analyze how much water it is or how we consider this or how we're going to optically view. There's just water in the glass. And that was the improvement of AG going for it on the 2-point conversion when he's down 15. Because if you go down 14 and then they go down and they get the 2-point conversion, you're back down 15 again, and you need to get 2 points. The point of that at the end of the game is to do as many or as few 2-point conversion tries as you need to. And it made sense to go for it then instead of hoping that you can tie it on a 2-point conversion later in the game. So I like that decision. And then obviously it pays off in the end. So in real time, I didn't like the decision. And again, that's part of the they don't have the cachet with me yet of I trust them to make these decisions. So I want to see just more cachet of trusting before we even get to the draft and get that new quarterback in the system, because there are things that I like about the offense, right? We put up 502 yards without Garrett Wilson. 254 of that is on the ground. And our offensive line looks really good for a young quarterback to come in, but I don't know if I have full trust in this entire organization and structure to develop said rookie quarterback. I think there's a lot of things Mendoza or Moore can do in this offense, even John Mateer, that Justin Fields is doing right this second, and some that they can do at a higher level than him. But do I trust the infrastructure around it? I'm not sure yet. So I have seen improvement. I'm not entirely optimistic because it is just one game. but we got some water in the glass, and we get to at least talk about ways that we can continue filling up that glass of water.
Yeah. Now, let's hope for all of our sakes, right? Minus Allen. Let's hope that game, the light switch went on for Aaron Glenn
Yeah.
and it never goes back off. Let's hope that game was the pressure is done. Like he got the win. You're not pressing anymore.
I
You're
have
kinda like, "All right,
arrived.
I got this now. I'm not going to crack under pressure in the game. I'm not going to do things uncharacteristically to try to change the outcome of the game. I'm going to stick to our model. I'm going to stick to our plan, and I'm going to deliver on that." Earlier in the game, Fields checks, fourth down, they check to a toss. The second, I don't care if it's that, if you're going for it that early, it means that much to you. I would have burned the fucking timeout. Burn the timeout and get it right. Instead of him checking to the toss, rushing the wide receiver who wasn't in place where he needed to be to get that chip on the edge for the toss. Everything was out of sorts. I'm the head coach. Bang, timeout, reset. Fuck this. Keep it up the middle. We're keeping it with you. We don't care what happens. Now, later in the game, you saw that on fourth down. You saw them keep it with Fields and go straight ahead. You got the offensive line. You don't go away from the offensive line. You don't want to get Membu out in space. You want Membu and Simpson and Tittman in a phone booth. Straight ahead, take them out, get your yard.
Yep.
Don't get cute. Sometimes ugly is the best way to win. Look at Philadelphia Eagles. They won a goddamn Super Bowl being ugly. Running it, high percentage passes with the quarterback. They're not spreading you out and getting in a shootout here and there. They run the ball. They RPO with Hurts. Everyone knows. They don't even have to huddle. It's 3rd and 1. Line up.
Yep.
That's it. We know what we're doing. This is our identity. Fucking stop it. The Jets need to get that. You have Fields. You voted for the tush push, and you barely run it. I don't think you have run it. You've done keepers with Fields, but you haven't really pushed. So hopefully this game is where we look at and say, oh, shit. We were 0-7 to start, and then we got our victory. And that's where Aaron Glenn started coaching NFL as a head coach.
Yeah.
The job wasn't bigger than him anymore. He got the big boy pants on, no more capris, and started fucking coaching like a man. Right?
He stopped wearing all black with a vest in Tampa Bay in September.
I don't want my coach wearing a vest in 95 pass-out degree heat. That's just
I remember people like screaming about that. Why is he wearing all black? It's 120 on the field. I'm like, Tua went to Buffalo in like week 3 or 4, and he dressed like it was 45 degrees, but it was like 70. So things happen.
Dressed like that in Tampa, he's gonna look like a fucking Eskimo in December 28th against New England.
They're gonna be mopping him up as a puddle. Yeah.
What's gonna be wild is when he's wearing the same exact outfit in January that he wore in Tampa, and to be like, all right, this is just the strangest.
It's just what he picks out. His wife puts out for him Saturday night. Said he wakes up Sunday and just puts it on and goes.
Yes,
easy
I was
decision.
superstitious.
Yeah,
I the game in 25 degrees with 25-mile-an-hour winds, and I had on my blue like Docker shorts and my polo shirt. And people were like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm superstitious like this. I gotta wear it. How am I supposed to coach kids on defense and say, hey, wrap up, hit hard, tackle, if I'm in a North Face jacket with gigantic gloves on and a ski mask on? If they don't see confidence in me, how are these kids going to believe that they could do it themselves?"
You're 100% right. And
that vest had central air, Nate. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Hey, there's heating vests now, so like maybe Nate might be onto something.
Yes.
I want to go back to the toss play because it was a bad coaching moment to have that check built in that moment. But I also wonder, and maybe this is just trying to come up with any excuse to think positively about the situation.
I'm all for it. Find it if you can find it. I'm in.
In that short yardage situation, they went toss, right? Yeah. And in the short yardage situation coming out of the 2-minute in the fourth quarter, when they wanted to run their trick play, it was all predicated off a toss. So I don't know how many toss plays happened between that 4th and 1 and the touchdown pass from Brees to Mason. I want to say that was part of their game plan.
They didn't do on the first
drive. I know it was a
couple,
wide. Exactly. So part of their game plan was, hey, we're going to show toss We're going to show toss because at one point we're going to show toss option pass. So that's maybe my only silver lining to that entire thing. Bad timing, bad situation to ever do it. Don't ever have Arian Smith as your crack blocker and Alan Lazard coming in motion as your lead blocker and toss the ball back 4 yards when all you need is 3 feet forward.
Yeah.
Like, that's the silliest thing to me. When you need 3 feet in this game and everybody is 6 foot or taller for the most part, how can you not just fall forward and get it? Like, I get it. Defense plays too, but like the tush push or the QB sneak is the easiest option. And I was honestly so mad. I was ready to like burn this whole coaching staff to the ground. I don't want it. I don't want the quarterback. And you got to stay the course. But it's those moments because we've been bad that it's hard to rely and have faith on them to make the right decisions. And they keep proving it in those situations that they're not fully there yet.
Agree. The only kickback I'll give you is Fields checked to the first one.
Right, but I'm saying don't even give it to him in the
checked
headset.
Like,
Don't even give it to him in the headset of like, all right, we're just gonna run QB sneak. No
That's it. Keep
hand to toss right.
Give him formation, keep it.
Yes.
No check out, keep it. Just go.
No.
We're okay with you at 6'3", 230 going forward.
And if you want to give him a check, and like this is again nitpicking, if you want to give Justin Fields a check and he comes out under center and he doesn't love the sneak, tell him to go back in shotgun and run QB power. And just he keeps it instead of trying to toss it. It was just the toss of it. And like having Arian Smith as the lead blocker, like all of that just optically was just, it was not the right time.
And even the tush push, now there's variations of it, right? Everyone's going to load up the A gap and sometimes the B.
Yeah.
But if you got guys who down block and then you have that formation where it looks like they're going to push you, say you have Ruckert there. Ruckert just goes, like say he's on the quarterback's left.
Mm-hmm.
He goes ahead in the C gap instead of crashing down to push you, and then you follow him as a lead.
Yep.
Because that you see a lot of quarterbacks.
And Fields loves the B gap sneaks. Fields loves the B gap sneaks.
They do well with it because everyone's crashing in and down thinking you're going to go forward. You take a step or two behind Simpson and then charge forward behind Ruckert. You might be able to break one and get some decent yardage on it.
Exactly. There's times where Justin has fallen forward on those QB sneaks because he's anticipating contact. I'm like, damn, dude, if you just kept your balance, you probably would have had like 12 extra yards.
Yeah. But I think overall, looking at this offense, we've seen some good things.
Yes.
We've seen flashes.
Mm-hmm.
You get Garrett Wilson. We expect to get Garrett Wilson back for the Cleveland game.
Mm-hmm.
This should be the game that I've been dreaming of, Dylan. This should be the game where we run the ball 40 times for the first time this season. We had 39 against Pitt. We had 36 against Cincinnati. This should be the game where they run, and they run more. And this should be the game where you don't take chances with Fields. You move the pocket, you roll them out, you give them that run pass option out in the flat, and you play it safe because their offense doesn't scare you. And you don't want to have a Garrett strip fumble. You don't want to have your first interception. You don't want to hand Cleveland the game. I would expect a very ugly game plan for the Jets. And if you have to throw it later in the game, maybe you feel a little better after what you saw with Cincinnati. But I would just run the ball, do your different variations of run, do your little trickery out of the run, get your Arian Smith sweeping, get your Fields power sweeps on, just shotgun, Pop Warner, sprint out with the quarterback. Do some creative things in the run that can lead to layers of the onion being peeled. And later in the game, you come back the other way with it. Like you said, toss, play action underneath with it, right? You have that variations. And now you're putting enough running plays on film where they're going to jump for those. And now you hit them with a secondary play.
Yep. This is going to be the race to 20 game, right? And I hate to use the
20,
solidism.
I think you're looking at 13.
Sure, yeah, but like 20 will get you there, and like you feel really good about it. Exactly.
20 is a blowout.
So that's what I'm kind of looking at this game as. Can you? And this is kind of going against my overall analysis of Justin Fields. I want him to throw interceptions. I want him to be aggressive, not throwing bad interceptions. Obviously, like if he throws a ball one-on-one down the field to Garrett Wilson and the defender comes up with it, like the Tyrod Taylor, the second interception that he had, where he threw the one-on-one ball to Josh Reynolds against J.C. Horn, but it was just bad ball placement and he left it too far inside. Like, I don't mind those aggressive type throws from Justin Fields, but like you said, in this game specifically, when we don't think that the Cleveland offense is going to generate a ton of points and a ton of yards, this is the game where you have to have like ultra conservative ball skills and like ball handling and really don't put the football on the ground. Don't throw stupid interceptions, because you could give Cleveland a short field and they can capitalize still. Like, they're still an NFL offense. And you also can't get into a situation where Cleveland's defense has any sort of a lead, because Myles Garrett just came off 5 sacks. And I know they had a bye this week, but their defense can get after it with the slightest bit of a lead. I feel like they have enough on the back end talent-wise where they allow Myles Garrett to get home. So I am very worried about this matchup, even though I would consider it a slightly inferior opponent, right? I think we have a slight quarterback advantage. They probably have the head coaching advantage, Stefanski over Aaron Glenn still. But if you get that Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engstrand combination from last week, where they're firing on all cylinders and pulling all the right levers at the right times, then yeah, you have a chance to beat this Browns team. But you have to start with holding on to the ball. Possession is 9/10 of the law, and you have to just, you can't give it up to them on easy fields.
Yeah. So looking ahead at this matchup with the defense, right? The Browns are third in the league, giving 276.9 a game. Their passing defense is fifth, giving up 182, and their run defense is ninth, giving up 94. So for the Jets, overall, we're 18th in yardage.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving up 335 a game. Passing defense, we're 12th, giving up 199 a game. And our rushing defense is 25th, giving up 135 a game.
Mm-hmm.
So to be 18th, considering some of the point totals we've given up, I don't think is that bad. We're not giving up 500 yards week after week. We're just not an efficient defense. We're not getting off. When we're either 3 and out or we give up 90 yards. There's
Seriously.
like no in between.
Seriously.
You're not getting 35 yards on us and then punting. If you get a first down, you're probably going for points. And that's been the problem with this defense, is their inability to get off the field and the offense to sustain drives. Now, one of the big positives that neither one of us brought up has been the turnaround in penalties. From where we were the first couple games, double digits, the last several games, the Jets have been really good. So it's been very un-Jet-like the last several weeks in terms of penalties. So again, the wins aren't there, but if you're looking for things that are starting to turn, and as Aaron Glenn said, big ships they turn slow. We're starting to see some positives. Now, if you do these things well enough and you improve upon them even more, you run the ball better, you play call better, less penalties, no turnovers, you get turnovers. That's what's going to lead to wins. So I don't like where we're at, but I consider myself a forward thinker. I can look at this team from now going forward and saying there's things that they could start to do to win some games. Give me your thoughts on all that.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I like to think positively and more optimistically, and like, what can we do to improve on what we did, instead of just saying, oh, this stinks and we're just going to have to ride it out. And I think it was Alan who put the comment in earlier that
Alan.
No, and I don't think he was talking to us. I think he was just talking in the chat about this isn't turning the corner. And I don't want to look at this like turning the corner. This is one win. This is not turning any types of corners, but I think it allows us to look a little bit differently at this team, because they showed that they can be an NFL caliber team. And I think that's really all I'm looking for down the stretch. Play smart, competitive football. Give me more reasons, because coming into the Cincinnati game, Nick, and I know we hadn't directly talked about this, my whole thing was, I accept that this coaching staff is going to be back in 2026. I am just no longer looking for reasons to build a case to provide evidence that they should be back, right? Because it felt like I was doing more of evidence finding than they were doing of wanting to have this job, quite frankly. But now, after this one game, it's like, okay, I can look at these things and it looks like they want their job, clearly. And nobody doesn't want their job. But now I have a little bit of evidence to say, hey, in this situation, Aaron Glenn made the right call. Now, like he says about these guys on film, now that I know you can do that, let's see you do that again moving forward. And if he reverts back to London, Aaron Glenn, or versus Carolina, Aaron Glenn, where he can't make that decision, where his quarterback's hurt and can't complete a forward pass, if you can't make those simple decisions, dude, I'm going to go right back and say, all right, we probably got to go back to the drawing board and look at some of these fired offensive coaches, those Stefanski types and those Zach Taylor types, and couple that with our high draft pick of a quarterback and see what we can do to turn this team around. So my biggest thing is just give us something to be proud of, like he said, but also give us evidence to want to be a supporter of you. Because other than being a former Jet when I was, too young to really understand the game of football, he was here when I was 7 years old at the very oldest, I think, before he left and went to Houston, right in the expansion draft. Is that where he went?
Yeah.
Houston? Yeah. So
2002.
yeah, so I was
Him and
7
Marcus
years.
Coleman both went.
Exactly.
He signed a 5 for 25 contract, and at that time they were like, okay, take the contract off our hands.
Right. So I was 7 years old at the oldest of Aaron Glenn being a player. So I have no recollection of him being a player. So to me, that doesn't hold a ton of weight. It's a great story, and I love listening to the nostalgia of anybody in your generation or generations before you guys that saw his entire career as a Jet. But that doesn't hold anything with a lot of the younger fans, and we're just going to judge him as a coach.
Absolutely.
And as a coach, 7 bad games, 1 good game. It's hard to really say, I want you back. I've accepted that he will be back next year because of all the reporting that's gone on, but I'm not going to sit here at 1-17 or 1-16 rather that he deserves it. You know what I mean? So just give me something to build a case of evidence that says you should be back.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, getting an interception off of Jay Fiedler in the year 2000 doesn't mean a goddamn thing when it comes to coaching in 2025.
Even the 100-yard pick 6 on Dan Marino, like that doesn't mean shit to me. Like honestly, more people know him to be the fake spike guy than anything else as a younger Jets fan.
Yeah. Fuck that play.
Yeah, seriously.
So let's rewind to September, right? We were bad in penalties. Everyone was saying he said he was going to change it. He didn't do it. He stood there and said coaching, and it's going to get better. It has.
Mm-hmm.
As of this week, the Jets are 15th in the league, middle of the pack. Somewhere where, Dylan, you remember I said, if you can get to penalties and get to the middle of the pack and go from 32nd to 15, that's a massive turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets average 6.6 penalties a game. They are actually tied for 13th before today with Kansas City, Seattle, Jets, and Cleveland. In the last 3 games, Dylan, the Jets are tied with the Indianapolis Colts as the number 1 team in football, as the least penalized team with 3.7.
Okay, so 9 penalties in 3 games. Yep.
In their last 3 games. So for those of you who said the coaching was bad and they couldn't turn it around, well, the evidence is starting to prove in certain categories they're turning it around. They're number
100%.
2 in rushing offense going into this week. They're number 1 in penalties the last 3 weeks. There's things that they're starting to do that if you get a little bit better quarterback play and you make a little bit better decisions on the field as a coaching staff, which we saw a glimpse of in the Cincinnati game, maybe we can stack some W's here in the second half. Maybe we won't be labeled as the worst team in the NFL. Maybe we won't be laughed at as having the worst coach in the NFL. So there's opportunities here to put some of these narratives to bed and build on some good things going into year 2 of your regime, going all in potentially for a quarterback. There's some good things going on.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think I'll add on to the one thing that they can do. Penalties was the one big team-wide issue that I wanted to see improve. So I'm glad that we talked about that. The one thing I talked about early on in this season, and it was because of all the, I guess we'll call it peacocking that Aaron Glenn was doing, talking about, oh, it's just coaching that's going to allow Will McDonald to have this bull rush, and it's just coaching that's going to do this and that with Justin Fields. Down the next 9, the back 9, I want to see 60% of the players that they brought in, and I'm going to do an episode about this week. I'm going to do a list of players who were here when AG was already here, so they're not Glenn or Muji guys that they made a decision on that became pseudo Glenn and Muji guys, and then guys that were just completely new AG and Muji guys, because of those guys that they took the onus on them to make those guys better. I want to see 60% of those guys improve over the next 9. So it's guys like Michael Clemens, Tony Adams, who's now thrust back into a starting role, Justin Fields, one of their guys, Brandon Stevens. I want to see him continue doing his thing. Like I want to see 60%. And that was the number I put on them originally. If you're going to be so, we can develop these guys. Okay. 60% of your roster that you claim to be your guys, like Sauce Gardner falling off a cliff, I'm not going to blame that on AG, right? Like, or Garrett Wilson, like those aren't his guys. Sure, they paid him the contracts, but I would look at more like a Sherwood guy who they didn't need to necessarily re-sign, but they chose to re-sign him. Like that is a huge negative for the coaching staff. So I want to see 60% of this roster that they deem as theirs show improvement and something to build on in the future.
Yeah. No, very good points. Ladies and gentlemen, I put Dylan's link in. If you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel. He's doing a lot of great things. He does a lot of deep dives and analysis that I enjoy watching myself. I'm a big fan of Dylan. He's not only a friend, he's somebody that I enjoy greatly watching his content.
I
So,
appreciate that.
shout out to him. And Mo Dean is here. There's Dylan, the Mendoza fanboy. Now, Mo, respectfully, fuck you. I'm the Mendoza fanboy.
Oh, no more sellers.
I got all sellers. Right? When I saw Mendoza after like week 2,
yeah,
I'm like, that's the guy. I want the killer from the pocket. Like, I want the guy who can
the cerebral assassin,
pocket, anticipate, and make every throw in every type of way with all types of velocity and instinct. Who can be mobile? Like when I look at him, I see a Herbert. Herbert's athletic, but he wants to throw from the pocket first. That's how I look at Mendoza right now. I don't want to say Burrow, but if he goes on a run and wins a title and he's making all these throws, it could be a Burrow-esque season, but I don't know if he'll equate that to the NFL. But I want that killer from the pocket. Like that's how you win, in my opinion, still in the NFL. You have to be mobile, but Sellers hasn't improved as a passer enough for me to say that has to be the guy.
I don't want to take
bad
right now.
Guy
it's crazy.
that we have to hope we develop him as a passer. I'd rather take the killer passer with this offensive line and say, go cook, bro. We'll get you another weapon. Just go be great.
Yeah, 100%. And if you want any breakdowns of any of the college quarterbacks on my channel that Nick just put up on the screen, Dylan Tereman is just my full name. I have Mendoza, Dante Moore, John Mateer. Early on in the season, I did 2024 film of Sellers, Klubnik, Drew Aller. I also did a Nussmeier breakdown. So I have about 8 quarterback breakdowns on my channel. I'm going to get to 10 different quarterbacks before Thanksgiving. I have, I believe, Taylor Green from Arkansas. And then I have one more that people keep asking me to do, and I have it written down somewhere, but I keep forgetting. I've never watched him before, and I'm like, oh, it's Mayava from USC. So he's on the list too. So like, there's so many names getting added to this quarterback.
People who like him love him.
Oh, it's crazy.
Nobody's mid on him. They are like, this is the best quarterback in the draft, or it's like, I haven't watched them, but nobody is in the middle with that guy.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch him because people talk, like you said, the people that are pumping him up. That's it. Ty Simpson, he's another one that I have to get to on the channel too. So I'll probably get to 11, maybe even 12 quarterbacks before Thanksgiving, because I plan on doing like one game of a quarterback per week. So I'm trying to find like good matchups. Like I loved watching Indiana, Oregon. That was a cool one. Or Penn State, Ohio State was cool, but obviously Drew Aller didn't play in that one. But I'm always trying to find the best quarterback matchups because I'm not going to watch Mendoza win 73-0 over Kennesaw State and think that I'm going to get any watchable film for the NFL. So like, it's fun to watch those games. And like, those are more like highlight cut-ups. But yeah, if you want quarterback breakdowns on my channel, I'm breaking them all down as we go.
That's what's good about the playoff. The playoff is Indiana is going to have, if they're going to go on a run, you're either going to beat some top defenses or you're going to get exposed by some.
Yep. And that's why I fell in love with Will Howard last year in the draft process, because you look at their schedule, Ohio State's just their playoff schedule. He went toe to toe with Oregon, who I believe was number 1 in the nation at the time. Like then he went and he beat somebody. He went, and Texas was another one that they put up like 30, 40 points on against in the playoffs. So like I was looking at those teams that made it to the playoff, and I was like, wow, what do those quarterbacks look like? Because that's obviously their best competition they're going to get all year. Or you go and you watch them play Alabama or Georgia or, Oklahoma, Texas. You watch them play against good teams because that's going to be their closest to NFL talent. So that's the most fun part of this entire process.
Speaking of NFL talent, former Jet Sam Darnold, 9 for 9, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Perfect passer rating.
That's our boy Sam. Perfect.
Hashtag McCagnon knew.
Dude, he's making the Jets look bad, and it's not fair, really.
But
because
also the Panthers.
Because exactly, so many other teams, the 49ers, the Vikings, like the Vikings look worse for letting him go than the Jets did, because he came off a touchdown season, a 9 touchdown pass season out of Adam Gase in 2020 with Sam Darnold. So like that's that's egregious quarterback play. You can't let him go after he had 35 touchdowns and led your team to 15 wins.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. He turned into a pumpkin in the playoffs, but like, they took a huge risk letting him go to Seattle. And I get it. JJ had a really good game this week, but he's not going to look like that every single week. So I feel like the Vikings probably look worse than the Jets.
Yeah. But when you make that top pick for the quarterback, that's your guy, right?
That's exactly
That's
it.
our
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So
Like, we don't claim Fields. Like, we don't claim messing up Fields, right? He was already messed up before he got here. The Jets were just stupid and thought they could fix him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before I let you go, anything on your mind that we haven't discussed yet that you're like, I got to get this off my chest with the Jets?
No, just please stay healthy. That's the thing. I guess we could talk about trade deadline real quick. I'm not an advocate of trading away their talent. I'm not an advocate of trading away their talent. I get it. Maybe you can talk me into like Quincy Williams to the 49ers for like a 4th or a 5th round pick. That's really the most I'm doing. I'm not trading any of our defensive linemen. We already can't get a home at the quarterback. Like, I'm not trading Breece Hall after the game he had, and I get it. You could probably sell high on him and maybe get a 4th. But again, you're getting a 4th. Like, that's not much for Breece Hall and what we know he's going to be. I don't want to see him running through Arrowhead Stadium in late January for 130 scrimmage yards and kicking the shit out of whoever it is in the playoffs. Unless it's the Bills, then I'd feel a little less bad about it. But still, like, I don't want to see that happen. And I feel like any trade that would come down for Quinnen or Breece specifically, immediately the fan base, even the ones that wanted to trade these guys, I'm telling you, Nick, if they trade Breece Hall, those same people are going to be like, that's not enough. We lost the trade.
No one will ever. Well, very rarely will this fan base all agree on something.
Of course.
And if you trade Breece, there'll be people who are furious that you traded Breece. Then there'll be a percentage that are furious because you didn't trade him for enough. And then it's going to be 3 different categories of anger.
Yeah.
Right. One thing that I'm looking at, if you don't trade Quincy when you're 1-7, if you don't trade Breece when you're 1-7, do you have long-term plans? Are you
have to
looking at these guys and saying, hey, listen, we could have traded you at 1-7, but Quincy, we'd like to offer you a 2-year deal. We'd like you and Sherwood together. We want to build this defense around what you guys can do. How does Quincy finish this season? Breece, do you go to the moon? Do you get your 20 carries a game the rest of the season? Do you end up with 1,500 yards? Do you just dominate? Are you game-breaking plays? Are you wearing the defense down? Do you get the 12-plus touchdowns? Do you have the season that many of us have prayed for and thought you were capable of? Then I got no problem locking him up. I'm not giving him the contract if he ends up with 900 again and 4 touchdowns. Like, I'm not going to pay big money for that. But if you show I can be that dude, then pay him like that dude.
Yeah,
But
this is going to be
Breece you wait on.
Yeah, this is going to be a big Muji test, weighing the trade now versus comp pick future balance of these players, plus if I don't trade them now, what is the long-term plan and how do we actually make it worth our while to not trade these guys off? So this is going to be one of the, I don't want to say bump in the roads for Muji because that sounds negative, but this is going to be one of those obstacles that Muji has to, get over to prove to fans that like he's actually a real GM and he's not just AG's sidekick, like Woody liked to call him at the intro presser. So it's like,
you get the quarterback right, nobody will give a shit
100%
that you fucking traded a 6 for Tyler Barron.
Quarterback
nobody will
and
care
OC. Yeah.
If you hit the quarterback, if you get the quarterback right, and you get a guy who can be a top 10 guy in the NFL, nobody will give a shit about any of your other moves. They won't care about trading Michael Carter away. They won't care about anything. We need a quarterback, and everything else will fall into place. We've had too many guys throughout the years miss on the quarterback.
Yeah,
even when we hit with Mark Sanchez,
it
wasn't a long-term quarterback. It was lightning in a bottle for 2 seasons, and then after 2 seasons, they let Edwards, Cotchery, Brad Smith, Keller, everyone left, and they left Sanchez with nothing. And he wasn't a guy that you could just throw out there and put on the shoulders. They brought in Jeremy Curley, Stephen Hill, and the line was decimated. That's not even worth getting into because Tanner offered and valued mid-round picks. But
our guy Buffalo Jeff fan said quarterback, OC, and head coach is like 85% of your weekly matchups. And if you have 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 3 advantages to your side, a lot of things are going to go right for you on game day. And I agree with it. So I want to believe that the Jets have the OC, right? I feel most confident right now in the OC of those three. I feel obviously the least confident in quarterback because he looks worse than Zach Wilson when he's bad. When he looks good, he looks good. But when he's bad, he looks like worse than Zach Wilson. And then the head coach, I'm still, in the gray, we'll say, with Aaron Glenn. Like, I want to believe that he's the right guy for the job, but I need to see that so that at least if we have the head coach and the OC going into the offseason, you feel so much better about them at least being able to identify and develop a quarterback. Obviously, things need to happen for all that to become true, but I think you need to at least see evidence that we have the head coach and the offensive coordinator first.
Agreed. Boomtown, much love to Boomtown. His Blue Jays went on a tremendous run and unfortunately fell short. But boom, that must have been quite the ride for you guys as fans up there. And no teasing, no heckling. If you were a Boston fan, I would be reveling in your loss.
Yeah.
But boom, you're a first class guy. You're a homeboy, and nothing but love for you. And I would say I wish you well going forward. But with Garrett Cole and that pitching staff next year, good luck. But tremendous run by the Blue Jays, and boom was first class the entire way. And of course, congratulations to Addison and his Dodgers going back to back again with Garrett Cole and that pitching staff next year. To everybody, good luck.
Yeah, to answer
Yankees fans are starting to be like Jets fans. We got to talk shit in the offseason because once the games get here, it's like,
seriously.
No, your question from Boom, and then I'll let you go. It's
Yes.
cliche every time. But will this upcoming offseason be one of the biggest in Jets history?
Yes. It's always going to be the biggest in Jets history until the ship gets turned around fully. What was the biggest offseason was probably all the way back in 2018 when they drafted Darnold because they had the trade up to the number 3 pick. And then it was the biggest offseason the next year because they needed a coach. And then they got the wrong coach. And then it was the biggest offseason the next year because they had a new GM and he had his first offseason with the draft where he drafted Mekhi Becton in the COVID year. So that was the biggest year. And then the next year after that, they had to go draft a quarterback. So it was the biggest offseason in 2021. And then in 2022, it was the biggest offseason or the most important offseason for the Jets because we had 2 first-round picks that were in the top 10, and then we traded up into the first round again for a third time. So 2022 was the most important offseason of the time. And then 2023 was so much more important than anything else we've ever experienced because of the quarterback position and acquiring Aaron Rodgers. And then, 2024 might not have been as highly anticipated as everybody, but all our chips were on the table. So like we had to go, balls to the wall and try to make a push for the Super Bowl. And we put together what he called the greatest roster in franchise history, only to tear it down. And, and we're sitting at 1-7 facing the most important offseason in Jets history because we will have a top 5 pick and we'll be picking quarterback and we will be having the quarterback head coach discussion on should we even keep the head coach. So Boomtown, this is shaping up to be the most important, the biggest, and the least agreed upon Jets offseason we've probably seen in a long time.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That last part.
Yep.
I'll say this. Biggest offseason? Probably not, and that compared to some of the ones that we've had. But a franchise-altering offseason where if you go get the quarterback, everything else falls into place. And the pressure of having to get the quarterback, the pressure of being the Jets who always miss with the quarterback, the pressure of having to decide, do we stay? Do we trade up? How many assets do we give? Are we in love with this guy? Listen, you fall in love. Mendoza's the popular name, so we'll say Mendoza. You're not going to give a shit if you give up a 2 this year, a 2 next year, and next year's 1 if you go get Mendoza and he hits. You have your offensive line in place. You got Garrett Wilson there. In theory, maybe you have Breece Hall still back. You're not going to give a shit if you give up all of those picks and Mendoza hits. If Mendoza you trade up to 1 with the Titans for argument's sake, and Mendoza hits, and he is that Joe Burrow type behind an offensive line, and he comes into the league and can make all these throws from day one, no one's going to care.
Nope.
But you can wreck your future if you do this trade in theory and it doesn't hit. So
100%.
there's a lot of big decisions to be made. Uh, I don't think we're very far off. Quarterback, second wide receiver, and then you need some pieces on defense. If you don't trade anyone, you need a safety. You need a third defensive end. You
Mhm.
need another defensive tackle. You're not too far off.
Yep.
And you can get some of those pieces in free agency if you have to use pieces to move up. So
100%.
I don't
And
think
I would
it's
say
awful.
grab 2 offensive linemen too while you're on the way. 2 interior guys, maybe a center, and then a guard, right? And then it gives you flexibility because you can still bring back Myers and Simpson and then have young guys in the pipeline in like that top 7 of your offensive line where you feel good about the
Yeah.
guys that have to come in after injury.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, Dylan, I thank you for your time. I love
Absolutely.
talking ball with you, man. And we will do it again sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm really excited to always hop on with you. I was not going to use the excuse of daylight savings, but man, I am tired as hell. 5 o'clock comes early when it's dark at 5:30 at night. This is crazy, but I love you, Nick. I appreciate you having me on. And anybody that wants to subscribe to my channel at Dylan Tereman, find all the quarterback breakdowns. I just did an hour-long breakdown of the Week 8 film versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Luckily, YouTube didn't pull it down off the channel. They just told me I had to demonetize it, so I got lucky. But again, quarterback breakdowns are all up there. The most recent one is Mendoza. I'm really excited to get into more film too. So if you have players that you want to suggest, non-quarterbacks as well, I'm getting into wide receivers soon because I'm looking at that 34th or 35th overall pick as well to see what we can do with it. And I'll be offense heavy when it comes to the draft. So send me all your names and I'll make sure I watch them and I'll get them up on the channel for you guys. And I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Dylan, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, go show Dylan some love. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Later, Nick. Appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a momentary break. I'm going to use the restroom very briefly. Let's here we go. Since Addison has been exploding all over YouTube lately, let's check out the Seattle game when he came out here last year for Seattle. Be right back.
Kiss cam! Kiss cam! Ah, got him!
Motherfucker.
We don't know who the fuck you are, but let's go!
Motherfucker.
Second half starts in 2 minutes. 2 minutes until the second half.
Jets recovered a fumble!
Friend fucker. Sister fucker.
Smile!
What? Oh, hi.
First half highlights.
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical.
Have you ever seen a Jets score this many touchdowns in one half?
No.
How's Mr. Happy feeling?
Very happy.
Good time, good friends. Yes, the Jets scored 21 points in that first half against Seattle and did not score again. Shitty ass quarterback. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred joins us from Estonia. What's up, sir? Good
Hello.
middle of the night to you. I can't say good night. Can't say good morning. Good
well-
middle of the evening.
To some people, it will be the morning. Very fortunately, I'm off tomorrow. So, but
24-hour stream. Here we come, baby.
but can I just say how good it feels to be sitting here in the bye week with a win when
Yeah.
everybody thought we weren't getting a win? Man, it feels good.
It feels nice, man.
Finally, to have something good to talk about, man.
The only thing that will feel better is when the word win is plural. We have multiple wins. And dare I say multiple wins in a row. Am I getting too crazy here? Maybe. I don't know.
Look, I think we have a chance against Cleveland, but I do have to say credit to this coaching staff, credit to Glenn for keeping this locker room together. We're not having the same sort of meltdown as you see in Miami. This team is still going out there, or at least they were, to play to win, sitting at 0-7.
Yeah.
You don't really see that very often. A lot of teams would have quit week 6, but this team is still going at it, and I think that is the major thing we can take away from that Bengals game.
Yeah.
The fact that this team didn't quit.
Update for everybody who's not watching. Sam Darnold is 13 of 13 for 229 yards with 4 touchdowns with 4 minutes left in the first half.
Unreal, dude.
Those are Madden numbers on rookie level against a 5-year-old.
Unreal.
13 of 13 for 229 and 4 touchdowns. The thing that sucks is he's probably going to get pulled out in the third quarter and not play the entire game. But that's ridiculous. Good for him.
Man.
I'm happy for him. I really am.
It shows you coaching. Coaching is what matters. He gets a good coach and suddenly he looks like a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Look at Daniel Jones, though he did lose, tonight. But again, playing as an MVP candidate because of coaching. So,
yeah,
I really want to hope and pray that we have a good coach here, that we have a good coaching staff. And I really want to hope that, that Bengals game was the light that switched on, because, man, that it would be something to take away from this miserable season. We have a coach,
Yeah.
I really do hope that is the case.
Agreed. And if, like I said earlier with Dylan, hopefully that's the moment in Cincinnati where the light switch went on. He's not in over his head. He can swim in the deep end, whatever analogy you want to use. Hopefully that's the moment where he's like, okay, I got it now. It makes sense to me. The game has slowed down as a coach. You're not panicking in moments. You're not having to tell everyone you got to go make calls to figure out what the fuck to do in an NFL game as a coach anymore. Hopefully it's like, man, I figured out how to do this job. I figured out that I just got to slow down, take a deep breath, be me, make the decisions, and let the team go and execute. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's not the time and the place to do it. Be smart, be efficient, be aggressive, but don't be reckless. There's a very fine line between being aggressive and being reckless.
Definitely. And also, I want to note, Aaron Glenn, as a rookie head coach, completely outcoached Zach Taylor, who has been a head coach for years in this league.
Yeah. Went to a Super Bowl, defeated the Chiefs on their field to go to a Super Bowl.
Completely made him look like an idiot. Time management was there, Zach Taylor completely failed at time management. And so, when you look at this, there are some positive signs here when it comes to the coaching. Genuinely do think that. What I really want to see is him repeating this, right? One game does not undo 7 terrible weeks coaching wise, right? But if he can show us this going forward, there is genuine hope here with the coach.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And build upon it, get better, and just show that you belong. Like, that's the whole goal right now going into year 2. Show that there's a progression. Show that each week you get better at different things and don't fall off on any. Now, don't get better in the passing attack and then fall off on penalties, right? Don't, keep adding and stacking and building and getting better and improving week to week.
But this was our expectation for the season, though. Show that we belong. We weren't expecting to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting anything big. We just wanted to be a tough out. We wanted to suck to play against.
Yeah.
We wanted to
games. 6 of our 8 have been 1-score games.
Yeah. But basically, we wanted to be a team that, bit your kneecap off, going down. That's what we wanted to be. And, up to this point, we haven't really seen it that much. You know, some of those one-score games have been phantom one-score games, really, if you think about it. You know, the Jets making it close at the end, but if we can show something like this again, where we don't quit when we're down, when we keep playing when we're down by multiple scores, and we come back to win. I mean, you know, ideally it wouldn't be down by multiple scores. You know, ideally I'd want the defense to play a lot better, but this team not quitting when they're down by that much is also, I think, a big deal. You know.
No, I completely agree with you, man. There's things that this team can do that can show us that. Forget the record. You got to pass the eye test at this point. And
Yep.
now you got to beat the Browns, right? You got to beat the Browns. You got to beat the Saints. You got to beat the Dolphins. You got to beat the Falcons. All of those games are winnable. Are you going to win all of them? Probably not.
Yeah.
But don't get embarrassed anymore. Don't be a laughing stock. Show progression and don't fall off on any of the things that you've improved upon so far. That's the key to these last 9 games for me. But
Show
Brad,
us that you are, you know, that you belong at this level, basically. Yeah.
absolutely. But Brad, thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate you. And
Yeah.
enjoy the day off tomorrow.
Go Jets.
Go Jets, baby. That's it. Shout out to Pred. Question from the chat. Boomtown asks, who did Daniel Jones lose to? Must be a good QB to beat him with the season he's having so far. Well, Boom, you couldn't be further from the truth because the Pittsburgh Steelers put out one of the worst performances in the NFL this year. Their quarterback completed 25 passes for just 203 yards. Horrible. Their team had 225 total yards of offense. The Steelers' defense finally showed up. That's what happened. They only had 7 points in the first half. The Colts offense that has been rolling people and the highest points per drive team. What's funny was before the game, Steelers fans had a casket in the parking lot. Someone opened up a pickup truck and there was a casket there and it was a picture of a fence with the D, and fans were going by for a wake or funeral for the Steelers defense that they were claiming was dead and gone. So the defense finally showed up. That's who beat the Colts. Wise ass. Yeah, 6 turnovers. Thank you, Pork. 6 turnovers by Daniel Jones and the Steelers defense. Not the inept quarterback who was dumping off the tight ends for 3 yards a pass the entire game. But speaking of Pork in the morning, let's bring him on. No need to type anymore.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How's your day going? You enjoy football today?
We didn't lose.
Well, yeah.
It
was a great day for me. You know, my emotions were even. You know, I got to play some darts, watch football, eat good food. So it was great. And I was thinking about something else today. We need a linebacker in this draft. I'm thinking. Because
we got to see what happens with Quincy. They like him.
I like Quincy. I mean, he can tackle when he wants to. Sometimes he just does that tackle with no arms, which I hate that everybody does. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I hate that. I hate the shoulder spear.
Like that fish tackle.
Good runners can bounce off of that. They try to spear you like your Edge or Goldberg, and even those guys wrap their arms around you when they hit you. Like, if you're going to drive the shoulder, wrap with it.
Yeah, I get it. You're trying to save yourself. You know, you don't want to get hurt or whatever. But sometimes, I just hate that fish tackle. It's it just makes you look foolish.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good when you can knock somebody out with that, but these days you can't do that anymore. Guys are too strong. You know what I'm saying? And the thing I was talking about linebacker, Ohio State's got a pretty good linebacker, middle linebacker. What's his name? Sonny Styles. I was checking him out. I like the way he plays. So, and another thing with Glenn, I think if he can win 4 more games, he could stick around. He might win me over. But
he's going to be here. Like, he's not going to go unless things get really awful. I don't. It would have to be shockingly bad in order for him to be gone after this year. And like I said, I like Angstrom. I don't want to lose him. I think that's the brain. I think that's the guy that I am excited about having a young quarterback with. Glenn's
Okay.
not going to be the one molding him. It's going to be Tanner Angstrom. And I really like Angstrom. I'd hate to see him go. He would go somewhere else, get a job, elevate to a head coach in a couple of
Sure.
years, and be the guy that we're looking at like we're watching Darnold tonight. Like, holy shit, we had that guy in building, and we let him go.
Yeah, Darnold's looking amazing. And I always thought he was a good quarterback. He can make all the throws. And it was his head. I mean, he was just a kid when he came. He wasn't even old enough to drink when he got picked by the Jets, you know? So when you're that age, I mean, I remember when I was 19, 20 years old, you really couldn't tell me anything. And you're not mature enough, really, to lead men in that type of, I'm just saying it.
And when he did turn 21, he was in Morristown hooking up with those hoes getting mono.
Yeah, see what you see
a lot of them running around Morristown. If you guys have never been to Morristown, if you're a young man looking for those,
don't go
Morristown in the fall.
Yeah, don't hang out there. You know, we
Just
did
don't miss them.
We did a great injustice here. I mean, think about it. Think about it. If he's here right now, we might be winning. We might have won a Super Bowl already. But that's beyond what we can think. But as far as quarterbacks go, I like Mendoza's footwork. He looks good. It's amazing, actually. But if we could get him, I think we have a great future. But that's
from your lips to God's ears, man. That's the guy that I'm looking at, and that's the guy that I want now. When you play the Saints and you play the Dolphins and you play the Browns, and you win some of these games, you got to hope for those teams to beat one another, and it's going to be tough. You just go all in. Like, I think the best case scenario for the Jets: win some games, Titans end up with the #1 pick, Titans become sellers, and you just have to buy the pick. This way, we're winning games. It's not 2-15, 1-16, end of the world. Maybe you get 4-13, 5-12, and you trade up and just go buy the pick. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, if we could go if we could get 4 wins, 5 wins, and we could sneak in a good win against New England, you know what I mean? Like a win that we shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Like we could beat a decent team, and have a statement.
I think everyone needs to calm down on New England. And the reason I say that, they've beaten the Titans, the Dolphins, the Browns, the Falcons, the Panthers a few weeks ago, and the Panthers were dog shit. They're beating the teams they're supposed to be. I think the Patriots are just benefit of the weakest schedule in the NFL. They still got to play us twice. I just think when they get to the playoffs, if they make it there, they are going to show they don't belong on that stage. They to me, are not the Bills, even though they beat them. They're not the Bills. They're not the Chiefs. They're not the Chargers. They're not going to be able to compete with those teams.
Okay, I get it. But I think we need to at least win one game against New England.
I would love to. Fuck them and their fans. They're dog shit.
No, I hate New England, but I think we need to have like a statement win for Glenn. You know what I mean? To say this.
For everyone who said Vrabel went there, you go beat Vrabel and you go 1-1 against them in the year without your quarterback. That's a great start.
Because we've only beaten them twice in how many years? I mean, that's one good thing Saleh did. I'll give him that. He did beat New England that year, and he did beat Philadelphia for the first time ever.
Yeah.
With Zach Wilson.
With no secondary.
Yeah, minus Sauce Gardner.
That was a tremendous coaching job with that defense that game, with no secondary.
Yeah, and our defense won that game.
I think Greg James was the guy making plays, breaking up passes in the end zone for that defense that day.
Yeah, did Quinnen play in that game? I don't know if he did, but no, he played in the game. And there's another name, Quinnen. We might be able to use him for draft capital at the end of the year. You never know. That's a good.
We'll see. I just want to beat the Browns.
Oh, we're going to beat them. We just have to one play at a time. I don't know if we're going to face Gabriel or Shadur. I don't want Shadur coming in at halftime with that bullshit like Baker did against us.
Gotcha. Well, Pork, thank you for calling, man. I appreciate you. Keep your head up.
Jet lag for next week.
Be good.
Yeah.
Nick Shine Show news. Gold gloves were just announced. Ty France of the Blue Jays got it at first base. Yankees pitcher Max Fried got it. National League, no Mets and no Dodgers. 3 Cubs got it. Peter Crow Armstrong on center field, Nico Homer at second base, and Ian Happ in left field. So Gold Gloves announced. That just came in just now. But postseason awards will be coming in now that it's over. And for Yankee fans, we just monitor the Garrett Cole comeback. Next up, we got Nick T. What's up, buddy?
Nick Shine, Nick T. What's going on, man?
How are you, pal?
Good. No, you guys made a lot of wrestling references. So like 1990s Sting, I had to watch from the rafters and come on in.
Nice. I was a WWF guy, but my buddy Stevie always would flip over, and then I would just start like getting bitchy about it. Like, change this shit. I'm brand loyal, so I was a WWF guy.
Hey, good wrestling's good wrestling, man. But the funny part is that it's just ironic because it is something, and I know you and Jake are good buddies, and you co-host Jake's show with a lot. And this is one of the topics that I had with some of the more wrestling fans, but like non-wrestling fans kind of can relate to it. So it's one of those things that like wrestling, they have the money in the bank. I'm using air quotes, but the money in the bank briefcase, right? Like you can cash in on a weakened opponent, right? At any point in time. And I always found this really funny because it's very time appropriate of after who we just beat. And it's always, you're supposed to cash in on a weakened opponent that you know you can beat, essentially. And I always use this like to compare it to NFL, like not just this year, but any year, you name a franchise that the Jets could beat, and that you say, I don't care who the quarterback, head coach is, any year they're going to beat that team. And to me, it was, if I'm cashing in my chip, it's Cincinnati. Every year, the Jets, how many years did the Jets beat Cincinnati in the playoff? Like that year, the Rex Ryan year, that beat them to get in the playoffs, then beat them the week after. Like there's so many instances where every year I feel like, even in games where like you feel like Cincinnati's favored, the Jets somehow feel like upset victory happens. Like if there's a money in the bank briefcase in the NFL, I'm cashing in Jets. I'm betting Jets to beat Cincinnati. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Yeah. I mean, we beat them in the final game at the old stadium in 2009. We beat them the following week in the wild card in Cincinnati. There was the pile of shit game. I'm sorry, the Mike White game. I get them confused. They're the same thing to me. It's.
But like, there's so many, like Carson Palmer. It doesn't matter who the quarterback.
The Jets, right? They're that team that, for years it was the Lions, the Bengals, the Browns, the Jets, the Jaguars. Those were like the 5 teams that never had a chance to do anything.
Well, it's like Carson Palmer, right? Like Joe Burrow. I mean, Andy Dalton's garbage, but like they had so many like talented teams over the last decade and plus that it seems like every year, at least in my recent history and recency bias, they beat them. So it's just kind of funny. But I digress. My point here was, I know it's a little late because it was last Sunday, but obviously a big win for the team. But a lot of people, I know you did a show on like the Nick Mangold situation, and it kind of brings up a lot of memories of better times and successful times for this team. And one thing that I don't think is talked about a lot, and again, this season is far from over, and hopefully things turn around. And I know this is more of a loser mentality of like looking towards next year, because again, we have 7 losses, but something to consider. And with Nick Mangold and the history and what he brought to this franchise and anchoring that line, it really reminded me of the great times that we had with Mangold and Brick. And one thing that I noticed, and this is spot track, so a lot can change from now until free agency, but Tyler Lindeblom is a free agent next year.
He won't.
He is one of. I think he might get franchised too.
Baltimore lets him walk.
I don't think so, but let me tell you, in any event that he is on the free agent market,
oh yeah,
you offer, because the $30 million that you have with Rodgers, or 25, whatever it is, tell me you can't move Tippmann to guard and 4/5 of that line is set. I don't care who the like.
Yeah.
I know it's a unit, and tell me that line is not set. And you give me 30 million. I think 30 million is enough to sign. Presumably, he comes open. Lindeblom, and even I know people are going to hate this, but he played well today. And give me 6 to 8 games of Mac Jones to bridge me to a young quarterback with that offensive line, and I'm sold on that. And with 30 million, I think you could do that with Lindeblom, Mac Jones,
And then you're going to have
Phil.
dead money for Fields, and it's not worth it, in my opinion, because now you're going to have
Well,
the
how much
22 money.
dead money is for Fields?
22
though?
million. If you cut Fields, it's 22 million. That was the panic that came out when Woody made his comments. So you're not going to get rid of him for 22, draft a rookie, and then have Mac Jones as well. You don't need any more dead money. You're going to have $96 million available next year as of now.
Okay.
So I don't want to lose 22 of that on someone who's not there. You keep Fields. You let Fields be your bridge. And then whenever the rookie's ready to play, the rookie's ready to play.
All right. So you take away the wait. How many is dead money? 22. So from 90, you take away 22. You still have $70 million to address in open holes. Let's just say at interior offensive line, wide receiver 2, presumably running back. But I think you could tag. I know it's overpriced, but you could tag Breece Hall. And then you have linebacker and safety, right? So 5 positions for $70 million and quarterback, I guess. So 6 positions for $70 million.
Yeah. Well, if you're picking top, you're gonna have some of that money. I'm trying to pull it up now. 2026. All right. So they'll have 50 million in dead cap as of now for next year. I don't want to have 72 million in dead cap. Their cap space right now is $96 million. They're 6th in the league with that. So, and that's before maybe you redo Quinnen Williams' deal. Maybe you can open up some more money by giving him guaranteed money, reworking that contract.
So, but the dead money doesn't mean anything if you have $96 million of cap room. Like, I don't care you have $20 million. That's basically like, all right, well, you could have had 110, but all right, but you have 90 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, if you let Cisco go, there's 4 million dead. Tyrod has 2 dead. Lazard will have 4 dead. Simpson will have 2 dead if you don't extend them. Quincy will have 5 dead. So, but now you're looking, you got to bring guys in and replace these guys if you're not going to extend any of them. Same with Breece. So, I don't know. It's too far ahead for me to really pour my head into. Yeah. But I wouldn't want to put another 22. I wouldn't want to have $50 million to quarterbacks who aren't even on your goddamn roster. I think you just go with Fields, and then you bring in the rookie, and Fields is your bridge. No sense in signing another guy to be a bridge.
Fields hasn't proven anything to be a bridge. He's had I
here's
love
what he
the
is
fact
though. He knows the scheme that they want to run. They brought Fields in
run the ball and go 3 and out?
No, you're missing it. Hear me out, and you'll hear it. If Fields is what they want a guy who's mobile. They want a guy, you've seen glimpses of what it can be, but Fields isn't good enough at it to see what the total scheme is going to be.
So why bring him back?
I'm sorry, what?
You're like, he's not good at the scheme to show you what it is. So why bring him back in the scheme?
Because he's your bridge. That's why it was
no, because he's not a bridge. That's the point. He's a backup quarterback, and a bridge quarterback should be someone that gets you to your franchise quarterback. I thought he could have been that, and he's not that. He can't.
You're not going to cut him to bring in another veteran and another veteran coming in under the rookie quarterback. You're not going to do it. You're going to go with Fields, and then you're going to hand the reins to the rookie,
because
whether it's game 1. Yes.
After what Woody just said, he's not coming back. There's no way he's coming back. I don't care.
And they said he would never start again, and he started 4 days later.
Yeah, because they had no option. They're not going to start Brady Cook, who doesn't know the system at all.
All right, I agree to disagree, Nick, but. At least
Nick, I love you, man. But like, dude, they're not bringing Fields back next year. Like,
that's your opinion. I think the numbers say differently, and I think there's 9 weeks to determine it. I think Fields is going to be your guy for the
numbers. He's won 1 game, and yeah, he has completion percentages that are high. But so did like John Skelton had a completion percentage that high. Like, you can complete passes and not get first downs and not do anything. Like, even Zach Wilson had games where he had 60% completion percentage. We're like, oh man, Zach Wilson 60%. But the other day, they're losing games, they're not moving the ball. So it doesn't matter. Your offense is still garbage. So he's not to me, yeah, it's dead money, but it's $22 million in a starting quarterback spot that gets paid pretty much on average 20 to 25 for a starting spot. So they're going to eat that money.
Contract for this reason. Starting money in 2025, backup money in 2022 or 2026, forgive me. That's the way they structured it. Because he's not going to be your guy in year 2. He's going to be your Tyrod Taylor. He's going to be the mentor for the kid. That's the way it's.
He's not. You can't mentor anyone if you can't win anything and can't show them.
That's not true. How many NFL coaches couldn't fucking quarterback, but they could say what to do? Fields can know what to do, but not be able to do it on the field. You get that, right? He doesn't process it quick enough, but he can.
Yeah, then how can you? How can you? All right, if you don't know what to do
on my own show, if you don't let me get a fucking sentence out, you gotta hear me, dude. Come on, man.
Talk.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, man, I'm letting you talk.
I'm good. Go ahead, make your point.
No, and I'm trying. I'm trying to have it like back and forth. Like I'm just saying, like if you haven't shown that you can be successful and you can articulate that to someone else, right? How can you be a mentor to anyone if you haven't been successful? So what am I showing you that's success? I've shown you failure. So, okay, I'll show you how to fail.
Many backups in this league haven't been able to execute it on the field, but they know what to do. That's the point I'm trying to make. And it's not like you have Fields for 10 years. You're going to have him for 1. Maybe Brady Cook elevates to that career backup. Maybe Brady Cook is that guy. Maybe. We don't know. We're still in the middle of 2025. We're not even halfway through the games that we have to play. Who knows? Maybe Fields gets completely worse. Maybe he gets better. Maybe he stays the same. But as of right now, with $22 million, it shows me year 1 starter, year 2 convert to backup. 2027, we'll see where we're at. Maybe you sign Fields to be your prolonged backup because the kid hits and he likes the relationship he has with Fields. Josh McCown, never a great quarterback in the NFL, very good backup. Sam Darnold praises Uncle Josh to this day for teaching him how to be a pro. Justin Fields has a good head on his shoulders. Maybe he's the guy to help teach Mendoza, whoever QB1 will be, how to be a pro, how to handle New York, how to not let the media get too much to you. Maybe some of these things factor in instead of just the play. So thank you for the call, Nick. I appreciate you, buddy.
Right. Take care, man.
Have a good night. Yeah, it's entirely too soon to see. And I don't want to have 35 million tied up in Rodgers, 22 million tied up into Fields, another 10 million tied into a backup, 15 million tied into a rookie. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I think Woody Johnson can say something stupid like he does and have it not affect going forward. I think the relationship between Glenn and Fields is more powerful than the hateful words from Woody Johnson. That's my take. Could I be wrong? Sure. But I don't think you're going to burn more money just to burn it. Aaron Rodgers took a dig at Woody Johnson's son. That was the icing on the cake. Glenn was the executioner. In my opinion, Woody made that decision, and Glenn is the one that dropped the hammer. That's my take. Could I be wrong? Sure. Do you have a different opinion? Maybe. Could you be right? Sure. But I just don't look at this team and this regime as wanting to stack more dead money. You have $96 million available. You go get a rookie quarterback. You have Fields be the bridge. Maybe he gives up the keys to the car in week 1. Maybe it's week 7. Maybe it's at the bye week next year. But I think Fields, in theory, should be the guy for now. No long-term commitment. And I don't think it'd be very hard for a top rookie, whether it be Moore, Simpson, Mendoza, to surpass Justin Fields as a passer. So Sam Darnold is 16 of 16 with 4 touchdowns in the first half, and it puts him in the same category as 2007 Tom Brady. So, Addison, I just saw your message. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 45 of you here watching. Thank you. Hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A lot of the viewership on this channel is from people who aren't subscribed, trying to get to 2,000 before the end of the 2025 season. So if you would, please help out with that. Also, we are doing raffles on this show. If we get the 30 memberships gifted during this show, we will raffle a jersey away to all of you who gifted. Also, there is a raffle going on. Any super chats, $5 and up, or gifted memberships will get you on the wheel for a bigger prize to be announced, which we'll be giving away November 23rd, 3 weeks from tonight, the night of the Jets and the Ravens game. I believe I'm going to be in attendance for that game. I think me and my boy are going to another road game. So, should be fun. Looking forward to these trips with Nick. Told them next year, though, you're 18. I ain't paying for you no more. When you're 18, son, you got to start paying your own way, pal. So you want to go to further games, you want to take the flight, you better start saving up. Joe the Jet G says, I think it's going to be Simpson. I have a feeling Moore is not coming out. That's fair. That's fair. And nowadays, big schools can pay big money to keep these guys to go try to win a title. You know, if Oregon goes on a run and wins, if Indiana, well, Mendoza has to come out. But if Alabama, I don't think they're capable of it. But you never know. Playoffs, a quarterback can get hot and carry you to victory. Modine says, I don't understand why the Jets thought they had some cure for Fields and would fix him. We already knew what he was based on his play at Chicago. Well, that's what I was trying to say before. This is the type of scheme they want to run. And Fields was the best fit off of his skill set who was available. That's why they structured his contract to be starter this year, backup next year. Nobody expected Fields to be that guy, but they rolled the dice on it. One of two things happens. That's what I said all offseason. Catch lightning in a bottle, you extend Fields. He goes to that Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold category. Hey, man, we found him. We fixed him. We extend him. You lose. Maybe he's the most important bridge to cross is the one getting you to the draft pick. So that's where we are. Right now, Fields looks like the guy who's leading you to a top draft pick to get your quarterback of the future. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you got to be bad to be great. Indianapolis Colts worked out for them multiple times. The Bengals get Burrow. They get to a Super Bowl. Sometimes you got to be bad at the right time. Sometimes you have the number one pick and it's shit. Other times you have the number one pick and it changes the course of history through the NFL. Sometimes you pick 11th and get Josh Allen. Oh, wait, never even made it to a Super Bowl? All right, see, sometimes you pick 11th and it fucking sucks because you can't win with that guy. But ladies and gentlemen, call lines are open. It's Sunday. Don't forget, raffle entries are doubled, folks. And we're kicking off the month. Let's give 5 more out. They went to Black Gypsy, Frank, Gil, Goose McGee, and the King Lowski. Hell yeah, boom. Definitely a hell of a lineup. Almost as good of a lineup as the Yankees pitching staff in 2026. Can't wait. I can wait. I don't care. That's all I have right now. Let me be. Don't pay any attention to me. I'm just talking nonsense. All the Yankees need to do is clone Aaron Judge 3 times. That'll be all right. Jay says, keep only blaming Fields. We had a Hall of Fame QB last season and won 5 games. It's deeper than the QB. That will be making backup money next season. Yeah. Nope. Listen, there's a lot of things wrong last year. Firing the coach. Firing the coach after week 5. Like I said, if you were that, the seat was that hot going into the season, should have never, ever entered the season with him as the coach. And then you elevate Ulbrich. He wasn't ready for that. No one was ready for that 5 weeks in. You were 2-3. Didn't make sense. Rodgers checking out of plays all the time. We never saw what the full offensive ability would have been with the play caller. Nobody liked Hackett. They make the change. But all the checks, you never saw what the offense was going to be. You never saw Brees get an opportunity. So 2025 is just a fucking usual Jet season. It was an absolute, complete, and utter disaster. And Gary says it perfectly. Us fans deserve better. So, happy birthday to Chris B's mom. And many more. How's that? But, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick it up to the big, bad beast who's pretending to be stoned.
Now let's go to What Did We Learn Today, courtesy of Nick Shine.
So, ladies and gentlemen, drop your What Did We Learn? Oh, wow. What did I miss? I missed a whole bunch. I got to catch up after the show. Mo, they do not have the number one attendance. They have the most amount of tickets sold. They do not. The attendance, there's a difference from paid attendance and in stadium attendance. And I'm telling you, they are nowhere near. Today, the Giants 49ers game, you could barely see empty seats in the lower bowl. Last week, or the Carolina game, we were in the lower bowl. It was empty. There's no fucking way that there's 78,000 people at the Jet game. I've been there when there's 78,000 people. You barely see an empty seat. Mays, I learned the Jets were coming in front of Nick, but it is only Rick Kent who excites him. Thank you. Mo says, Nick, do the tickets sold make Woody the money or attendance? The tickets will also sell next year. So owners make the majority of their money off of the television deals, which is $200-something million a year they each make. Then there's merchandise, which is a big portion, and then there's ticket sales. So the ticket sales are just a very small portion of it. But if you don't sell out, you're blacked out in your market. And there's been a lot of games where the Jets have to buy their own tickets. And that's why you see tickets go. I went to a game years ago. I want to say early, like 2013, maybe. Jets Texans on Monday Night Football. They were both awful. Woody had to buy like 10,000 tickets at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he put them all on StubHub, and I got a ticket for $6. I bought a 30-pack and a package of chicken, and my cousin drove because he had the parking pass. Like $6 I went in to a game, and there was so many seats available. But the television contract states that you have to be sold out with tickets. It encourages fans to buy tickets so the game doesn't get blacked out. But a lot of times, ownership will have to buy those tickets and bite the bullet. Tom says, I think they recently lifted that. Okay. I never heard of them lifting it. You know what, Mo? They should stop buying. No one's taking your seats. The only way to send a message to ownership is to not buy the season tickets. Why are you paying $250 for a seat that you can get 6 out of the 8 home games for $150? There's no prestige in having season tickets. You don't get treated well. You don't get nice gifts from the team. Get a fucking stupid yearbook. That's it. Stop doing it. I can go to every game and spend less than $500 on the season on tickets. I would love to hear why you think it was a 7 out of 10 last year. I mean, the primetime games, Rodgers, like, I don't get. I would love a breakdown on why you think it was that high, and why you rate it that high. This year, 2 out of 10. I think the 2 is being quite generous. Oh, the coupon book. Yeah. When you spend money, you get perks. Yeah, it's horrible. Listen, the franchise doesn't get it right. They don't do things right for the fans. They take their fans for granted. It's a shame because this fan base has been through hell and they keep showing up. Look at the YouTube shows in April, May, June, July. Jake does shows twice a day and he's still got hundreds of people watching. This show had its biggest numbers in terms of live viewership in May. The Jets fans are great. We deserve better. Hopefully one day we get that product on the field. But ladies and gentlemen, hit that Boomtown Canadian flag if you are a Shiner. And ladies and gentlemen, we ask the great, the almighty, the powerful Boomtown drop. What did you learn today, Boom? Please, sir, true wrap it like it's hot. And if you haven't, folks, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can make this nice push. Boomtown learned Dylan is surrounded by fake wood. The Jets were not coming in front of Nick. Nick really wants to ride Breece Hall and see if he can carry the load. Well done. The Jets have water in their glass. Bonus, Kennesaw State does not provide great film to review. The Jets have an impressive streak of biggest off seasons in team history. Fred is alive and well. Morristown is full of hoes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Nick Shine Show. I am your host, Nick. You are the awesome chat. Enjoy a Sunday without a Jets loss. It's our second Sunday of the year without a loss. We have one more Sunday after the Patriots Thursday night game where we can enjoy a Sunday of football. But ladies and gentlemen, take care. God bless. See you guys probably Tuesday. And we are out. Good night.
It's got
Jets recover the football.
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined, to get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click a family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most Nicky.
Who, me?
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro.